Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sport Show right here on Smash FM here on Lockdown Tuesday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go to South Australia in particular. And of course, speak to a women's football player, of course, playing in the SANFLW women's competition. Of course, her team last week took on the defending champ South Adelaide and did a fantastic job in that game. Even though they didn't get the result, but of course, they'll be hoping to bounce back against, of course, Woodville West Torrens this weekend. Of course, her name's Chelsea. She joins us from the Glenelg Football Club. Thanks, Chelsea, for joining us.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me, Will. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Well, a tough task for your team, taking on the defending champs, South Adelaide. But I thought watching your game, and especially the highlights of your game from last week, that I thought you did a fantastic job in limiting their possessions and limiting their scoring opportunities.
Yeah. Look, they've got a really, they're a very well-drilled team, clear game structure. So having only played them, I think 3 weeks ago, we were able to learn from that and try and rectify some of those things moving into this week's game, which I think we did well. We probably need to tighten up on a few things on our forward entries as well, which would maybe help the result go the other way, I think. But yeah, they're a very good side.
After the game, were you reasonably happy on how the game sort of panned out compared to the first time you met them 3 weeks ago?
Look, we're never happy to have a loss get added to the board, but there's a lot of good takeaways for our side. Again, don't get me wrong, we certainly wanted to win that game, and we have the team it takes to beat them and North Adelaide, the ladder leaders as well. So, look, I'm not going to lie, we were pretty disappointed. We really had the belief that we could take that game, and I think we had 3 red time goals, which ended up being the difference in the end there. So lots of promising signs, though, absolutely, but always better to get the win.
Obviously, this week you're back at home this week, and especially you go from the top team to the bottom team. This week you take on Woodville West Torrens at home. I guess that must be at least some sort of relief knowing that, I know you don't want to be too complacent, but you must be looking at this game where hopefully we can get a win out of this.
Yeah, look, we think that every game is winnable for us. Like I said, we do have that strong belief. But yeah, Eagles, they kind of had a struggling season last year, but again, they've got some great talent. They actually knocked us off earlier on in the year, the last game before we had our season shut down. So they got their first win on the board for their careers in the league there. So we're definitely out for redemption this week. And I think we've been building since we've restarted up to this point, and obviously we let a few things slide last week, but the girls are really keen to knuckle down and tighten the screws on a few of those things. So we're looking to rewrite that one from earlier in the season, that's for sure.
Now, you mentioned that you had a pretty stop-start year, and obviously what's been happening around the world and what's happening down here in Melbourne, that it's been a pretty unusual year, to say the least, the 2020 season. Now, I know that your season would normally typically end by now or close to by now, but how has the team coped with doing a long pre-season? You've had a couple of games, stop again, and then obviously getting back into it again now.
Yeah, it was very challenging. Obviously, we like to get that continuity from a strong pre-season into games and finish the season off. However, as we know, many other people have had areas of their life completely turned on its head through the recent times. But we just try to keep the girls connected through the break. Obviously, it's difficult to get in the gym. We weren't allowed to do that. We weren't allowed to train in groups. So there's a lot of self-motivation that was required. Some girls took to that really well. Other girls naturally, with a lot of things going on in their lives outside of football, weren't able to keep that commitment up. So we wanted to let girls know that it was okay to do what they can, and it was okay if they couldn't get things done. But as soon as we saw some restrictions lift and we got the green light that we were going to get some sort of a season resuming, it was green light or get going again. So definitely very challenging. Wouldn't recommend, but everyone's been safe and well, and that's the most important thing for us in our squad, and maintaining our low numbers here in South Australia as well. Obviously, football's been under the pump a bit with that. People not too keen on seeing footy going again, but we are, so we want to just do the right things. We just want to play football, so yeah.
I guess how soon was it to be onto the field when you got to resume again? I think it was a couple of weeks ago. How soon was it to step foot on the field again?
The girls were stoked. I actually missed the first 2 games of resumption out of soft tissue injury, so not the best restart for me. But we were just so excited to get back out there. We really felt like we had a point to prove, and we wanted to rewrite our start of the season, I guess. We, like I said, a very young squad, but very talented. Just giving girls a bit of a taste and then a pause almost worked in our favour. Gives us a bit of time to process, work on some of those individual skills where we could, and then get back out there. And obviously having 4 of the AFLW girls from our local Adelaide Crows with us was amazing. The girls are fantastic that we've been able to bring into our side, and watching them teach and learn and pass on their knowledge of the game to our young up-and-comers has just been really, really heartwarming to see, and just a benefit to our program as a whole.
Now, you might as well tell us a bit about those Adelaide Crows girls in your team. And tell us, I guess, how special they've been to the team, each of them.
Yeah, so we've got Caitlin Gould, who debuted for the Crows this year. She was in our program at Glenelg last year, had a breakout season. She's an ex-volleyballer, so she's got hops, kid can jump, and she just gets her hands up and absolutely clunks marks. So it was really exciting to see her go to the Crows during the draft last year and get a couple of games there and kick a few goals, which was awesome. So having Caitlin back in the fold, she did manage to squeeze in a game or 2 before the break. So getting her to slot back in was really refreshing. Then we were able to grab the superstars of the league in Ebony Marinoff, Eloise Jones, and Denny Van Hagen. So throwing Noffy into the engine room was it's awesome. And we got a bit of a somewhat inexperienced midfield this season. So putting Noffy in there has been amazing, and watching her take those girls under her wing and share little tidbits of information has been awesome. So yeah, and Denny's just a great soul around the club, and Eloise Jones is a powerhouse forward. The way she moves in traffic is phenomenal, and she can kick the ball. So we feel like we've lucked out there, absolutely. And they want to be with us. That's the most important part, Will, is the girls, yeah, obviously they love their footy, but they were banging our door down saying, hey, we want to come and play at Glenelg. Can we make it happen? And we said, absolutely, come on in.
Now, of course, you mentioned it's a pretty young team. Tell us a couple of the young girls in the team that we should watch out for in the future, and obviously that hopefully may be able to see it in AFLW for years to come.
Yeah, look, we've got probably one of our youngest players, Brooke Tonnen. She's come through our junior pathway. She's from the southeast to South Australia here, which Glenelg zones. And Brooke's, I think, 16. And as I said, came through our junior pathway. She's been involved in state program, made her debut in round 3 before the break. And she's a ripping talent. So Brooke Tonnen, definitely. We've got a young midfielder, Tessa Conn, who has come from a cycling background. Been playing footy for a couple of years, and she's just an absolute bull. She takes on the feedback that she's being given, and seeing her growth this season has been amazing as well. Those 2 are fantastic players, and we've uncovered some rough diamonds as well with Jess Bates, Lucy Armitage, who's been in the program for a little bit as well. Excellent midfielders, defenders, just read the ball really well and aren't afraid to put their head over the ball, their body on the line. So yeah, it's actually really exciting, Will. Even when we play, you see these young girls on the opposition, and you get a bit in awe of them as you're playing, and you kind of want to just sit back and admire, but you also want to get the win. So yeah, you can't watch for too long, that's for sure.
Now, for you, Chelsea, how did you get involved in footy, and why did you choose it?
So I grew up in the country myself. I'm from the southeast as well, where Glenelg zone. So I actually had a pretty strong connection to Glenelg right from when I was a kid. Classic female story. Auskick finished, and missed out on going to the MCG because girls don't represent footy clubs in the country. So missed out on that. So that was it for footy for me. And then when I moved to Adelaide for uni, I found that we had a women's league here in Adelaide. Missed that opportunity again, moved away for work. And then when I came back for teaching, I went, right, I've got to make it happen. And it was an easy one for me to go to Glenelg. As I said, I grew up barracking for them. So if teams wanted me, that was awesome. But I only wanted to be at Glenelg. So, yeah, when that opportunity came, that was a pretty easy one to put pen to paper, that's for sure.
Now, I guess, Glenelg has a fantastic history in the SANFL, in the men's, obviously. Hopefully they carry that tradition with the women's.
Absolutely.
For you, what did it all mean to play the sport of football, and especially playing for one of the most successful clubs in the SANFL?
Yeah, again, look, I've probably started footy a little bit later than's ideal. Probably don't have too many more years left in me. So I just want to take every opportunity that comes up. I know it sounds cliched, but to be able to pull the boots on, to put on the Glenelg Guernsey every week is something that I honestly never dreamed would be possible. Growing up barracking for Glenelg, watch them go around, and I was a bit young to catch their last few premierships, but being there last year when the boys won was just unbelievable. You really feel that sense of pride. We're a community club down in the Bay. We love the Tigers. We love everyone who loves the Tigers, and so to be part of that is really special. And putting that Guernsey on for the first time, I think it was a trial match we had, and I just couldn't believe my luck that I was putting on the Bay's Guernsey, and lucky enough this year to be leading the girls out. And I never imagined that would be a position I'd find myself in. My second season at the Bays, so very, very thankful for the way that my footy pathway's gone, for sure.
Now, you almost answered my next question, which is obviously you're the captain of the team down there at Glenelg. For you, what did that all mean to you? And tell us a bit about your other players who are in your leadership team.
Yeah, so again, look, when I came into the team at the start of last year, or end of 2018, Cass Hartley was our captain, and Cass is a phenomenal leader. She's captained the side since its inception and done a wonderful job. Cass has such a great footy mind, and probably one of the most passionate Bays fans I've ever met. Sitting with Cass at grand final last year was just, everything that we support sport for. Tears in her eyes, couldn't believe that they'd won until the siren went, even though they were a few goals up. So to be able to follow in Cass's footsteps and take the number 5 Guernsey and wear that with pride, honouring both herself and obviously, of course, Peter Carey, and then every other player who's worn that Guernsey is, again, a dream come true. And running out onto the Bay Oval last week was definitely a pinch myself moment. But, of course, I can't do it by myself. I'm very well supported by a leadership group, which Cass is part of. Another experienced player in M. Woods, who's been at Glenelg in the first season and then spent a bit of time at South, and she came to the good side, came home, and has been a great asset to our leadership group. Both Cass and Em have a wealth of experience in football and great leadership skills that they're just pointing me and giving me a few little whispers in my ear. And then I have Ellie Kellock, who is our deputy vice captain. Again, for a young footballer, she's got a wealth of knowledge and experience in her legs and in her heart. So Kel is an absolute fighter, and I love the way she goes about it. She's a true on-field leader. She leads by example in the way she plays. She's one of the fiercest competitors I've ever met. Watching the replays the other day, she was always the one with her head over the ball and pulling her way through. And then Jordana Bradley is our vice captain. She's taken a pause from footy through the back end of the restart for personal reasons there. So George's married to an ex-captain of the men's side, so she naturally has some leadership skills at her fingertips, but Jordana's just such a kind heart, a wonderful person. We really pride ourselves on being leaders who demonstrate our care and commitment to our playing group, and then the football will come from that. So, very excellent leadership group, and I feel very, very lucky to have them alongside me and with me there.
Now, what will be some highlights throughout your football journey?
Oh, geez. I think this is it, to be honest, Will. Like, playing for Glenelg, I always wanted to play for Glenelg, but I just never really knew where I fit in the grand scheme of it all. So just playing footy in an organised women's team was just something I wanted to do. And playing down here at local club Norwood Park, shout out to the Mighty Roos, was great. It sort of started up after the first year AFLW, and being out there with a bunch of like-minded women has been the biggest highlight. We just want to play footy. We've got so much love for the game, so much enthusiasm. So to be able to play has been a highlight. But of course, making SANFL making a SANFL squad, and obviously being honoured by being selected by my peers as captain has been something that I'll never forget. So yeah, I'm living it right now, Will. That's for sure.
Now you mentioned about obviously Glenelg. Obviously, I don't think I've seen many grounds as unique as Glenelg. Obviously, it's down by the bay, which is the most beautiful part of the world, down in South Australia. I guess for you, do you kick yourself, when you get out on the ground, you look around, you're like, how amazing is it to play on a ground that has a lot of history and you're right down the bay?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, look, I love the Bay. I didn't grow up here in Adelaide, but this sort of area was always the area I was drawn to. And yeah, that oval, going along there and supporting the boys all through uni, sit there in the freezing cold, and then to run out there. Even trainings we were through pre-season, go down there for a run, and you got the oval to yourself, and you just turn around, you look up the grandstand, and just it's such a beautiful oval. So much history. You just know the blood, sweat, and tears that are gone out on that oval, and to know that you have a place there is something you can't describe. So yeah, every time set foot in that general vicinity is definitely a moment you just take and go, yeah, this is pretty special.
Now I'm going to ask the most silliest question I'm going to ask, because I might know what the answer is on this one, which is there a particular team that you'll love to beat?
Yeah, Norwood. Without a doubt. Norwood. Was that what you were thinking?
Yeah, exactly, yes.
Yeah. So, look, I don't know why. Look, Norwood and us, I think because there's a lot of girls who play local footy together as well. But, we just want to knock them off. And, our season's now going to come down to playing them in the final round. So, look, I'm not certain of this, but I'm not sure that we have ever beaten them in the women's comp. So this year's the year, and that'll seal us into finals. So, yeah, Norwood for sure.
That's right, yes. Norwood is hanging in the fort at the moment. So hopefully by then I used to get a bit more close than them.
This year's been crazy in general, but then, for us in our footy comp, like short of the top two, top three, it's anyone's race now for fourth. So, yeah, it's on.
Now, of course, what will be your advice to our listeners, especially in South Australia, that should get down to the Bay and watch the mighty Glenelg Tigers women's football team in action?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I come back to the youth in our program. You're seeing some girls here that are really having breakout seasons. These are names that we're going to see up in lights in the future. And, of course, you can't overlook the fact that we've got some of the finest AFL talent within our squad as well. So coming out and watching those girls. And I think, though, the most important part for so many of us playing is that we're now visible. We want to be able to provide a platform for young girls to come along and say, I want to be like you. I want to play women's footy. And to be able to see it helps with that belief of being able to do it. So just running out and seeing young girls there, young girls and boys coming out, cheering us on. Get out, have a look, bring a footy. Have a kick with your mum or your dad or your sister or your brother, grandma, grandpa at halftime, and then after the game, and get involved. Come along.
Now, of course, with this indifferent year it's been, obviously sponsors have been really important. Now, I'm sure you've got a player sponsor you'd like to give them a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. My player sponsor this year is Flinders Private Hospital. They're our jersey sponsor as well. But we're really thrilled that, again, community-based club. We've got so many awesome sponsors down around the local Bay area. The Holdfast Hotel put on a mean breakfast for us every now and then. And great events, so jump on in there. And the Organic Cafe and chicken chips down there at the Bay as well. But we just love supporting local. It's more crucial than ever right now. So I think a benefit to come out of the pandemic is we're remembering the importance of supporting local and getting down to those businesses. They're the heart of the Bay just as much as we are. So, we support our pals. But, of course, the Glenelg Club, get on in there for a meal. Tuesday night, snitty night. I know I'd rather be going in there for a snitty than training tonight. But, nonetheless, I'll be out running around. But,
Now, of course, we'll finish off with a couple of light-hearted questions about your teammates, which is any embarrassing moments by anyone on your team?
Oh, do you know what, Will? I think players in our squad, they don't get embarrassed. we know we've all got our quirks and we all do silly things and dumb stuff. And but yeah, I don't know, just the classic, I don't know, you sing when the music goes off, or, you know, a dumb question at training. I had a nice one on the weekend myself there, just the odd trip over your own feet as you're running backwards. Get a stick. Yeah, so that was nice. The physios let me know about that at the quarter break. But for me personally, it's not so much embarrassing, but it's more just remembering which way we're going at the toss. If I lose the toss, I really struggle to remember. So then the girl's like, which way are we going? I'm like, wherever they are not going. So I think that's about it. I don't know. Like I said, the girls are pretty chill. We have a few laughs. I think Sammy Franson is probably one that we get quite a few chuckles out of. So, yeah, that's probably about it, I reckon.
Now, of course, who's the comedian in the team?
Yeah, Sammy Franson or Ellie Kellogg, quite funny characters. Ebony Marinoff's actually a bit of a jokester as well. Bonnie Wells is quite funny. She's got a great sense of humour. She's unfortunately not finishing off the season with us due to injury, but yeah, Bonnie's quite a character as well. Yeah, I think those ones are pretty funny. Yeah.
Who's the best singer and dancer in the team?
Singer and dancer. Geez, we all like to crack a bit of a move. I reckon Tessa Con, she's our resident DJ and hype girl. So, yeah, our midfield bull is probably our singer and dancer of the squad, yeah.
Now, during isolation, did the team get set any challenges? And if so, what's the strangest challenge that you've been set, and what was the funniest one?
Well, look, the main challenge we had football-wise was a classic goal or trick shot one. One of our junior, our younger stars, Casey Coombe, had some amazing back heel kicks. She's from a soccer background, so she dominated that. Probably a challenge, not really a challenge, but we had a Tigers quiz, which had some really interesting questions in that. So we had a big old quiz night here on Zoom. Run by the amazing Charlie Dorr, who's an absolute character. So we had dress-ups. I think it was wear your favourite hat or crazy hat or something like that. So we had the American football helmets. We had cowboy hats. We had surf life savers. All those sort of, yeah. It was a good night. So that one was probably one of the craziest challenges, was just beating each other intellectually. And our physios, I got to shout them out. They were useless. So it's lucky they know their way around the body, because general knowledge stuff, sorry, fizzy bros, they weren't too flush there. So, yeah, it was a good night.
Now, cause do you have a pre-game ritual or superstition?
Yeah, I get a bit involved with this. Socks, obviously I've got the same pair of socks. Obviously we need to wear match socks, but out of my two pairs of our game day socks, I've got a particular pair that I wear with some other ones underneath, the same red compression ones underneath every week. And then the old tape around the wrist with a bit of writing on there. But yeah, the kit bag stays the same, jock, socks, headband, mouth guard for game day, a different one for training. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not one to sort of have quiet time or anything before. I like to get around and touch base with all the girls and see them. But had a nice one last season that one of my teammates ripped me about. Just touch the grass just before I run out on the ground. So running out, get down, touch the grass before crossing the line. But that one's faded off into the sunset there this season.
And of course, during isolation, did you have a hidden talent that you didn't think you had?
The ability to stay focused while working from home was one that surprised me. I'm a teacher working in an online school, so I was working here from home, and I really thought I'd struggle, but without any sport on the TV, it didn't really help me too much there in getting distracted. It did help me in not getting distracted, but no major talents from me, Will. I like to think mine's still hidden. Maybe I'm a Stephen Bradbury professional speed skater or something. I like to think that's what mine is, and I haven't had an opportunity to test that out during ISO. So, still waiting to find that one.
Oh, well, hopefully that comes around very soon. But Chelsea, thanks so much for joining us. It's awesome having you on the show. Please send our best wishes to your team when you're at training tonight. And obviously, well, hopefully once Melbourne gets out of this lockdown, and obviously borders ease a bit, hopefully towards the end of the year, hopefully we'll get to see your team in action in South Australia very soon, and hopefully in the final series.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me, Will. And yeah, go Bays. Thank you.
No worries. And that's Chelsea Packer there, of course, the captain of the Glenelg, of course, SANFLW women's football team. Of course, make sure if you're in South Australia, especially in Adelaide, of course, you can get down to the Bay, especially they take on Woodville West Torrens. Of course, this weekend, of course, all the details will be on our social media in the next couple of days or so. There's more on the Smash Sport Show right here on Lockdown Tuesday here on Smash FM.